Hi, everybody. An interesting reflection from a listener about thought and the physical feeling in the body. Hi, Claire. I'm super on edge today. I feel like my mind is in overdrive and I'm trying to concentrate on the physical sensation. I've been reading the book you mentioned on the Sunday podcast, Conversations on Non-Duality. It's a great book. And I keep seeing the word constriction. That very much feels like the physical sensation I keep getting in waves. I have a thought, immediately followed by a sensation, which I just try to be with, experience without judgment. It will dissipate, and then sometime afterwards it will come again. It's like it's a thought that is really frightening to be responded to or fixed. It feels hugely unpleasant, but I'm trying to just be aware of what the sensation is, rather than trying to do anything about it. Yeah. So that word constriction is really interesting, isn't it? Because what we can see happening is the contrast really from moments of flow, moments of engagement, moments of total immersion in reality, complete presence. There are no edges, are there? It's total expansion, really. There's no sense of being a body mind. Even there's just the immersion of attention, the sort of boundaryless experience of existence. And the mind might be operating in that place, but it's operating out of fluidity and creation and the absence of resistance. Really, it's flow. And then what we can see is the contrast to what the listeners described, which is a thought coming in that in a way catapults the experience of being into this restricted identity. I'm like this, and they're like this, and that's like that, and the future's going to be this, and the past was this. And it's suffering, isn't it? It's problematic because all of those definitions are simultaneously being created and resisted. I'm like this, but I don't want to be. They're like that, and they shouldn't be. The future's going to be this, and that's terrifying. So there's simultaneous creation, this thought that sort of packages and delineates, and resistance to it. And constriction is a brilliant word for that, isn't it? Because what we can see is the fluid expansion of intelligence in action that we really are. There's no longer the experience of that. There's now an experience of that, of existence being contracted, like literally being separated out, squeezed, limited, defined, with all the resistance that contains, because the deep knowing of what we are as the expansive space of awareness, it's not us, is it? To be constricted, to be limited, it's not what we are. And so how cool that we see, like, I love how the listeners articulated it, that, sorry, there's people working outside, hope you can't hear. So cool, like beautifully articulated, that sense of contraction. And what happens when we don't have this conversation as a navigation? What happens is that sense of constriction is taken as evidence of the validity of whatever is in the mind in that moment. So there's a thought that, I'm the future's going to be like this, and everything feels constricted, and that suffering is making that thought look more and more true. And so it looks like, in order to get rid of the suffering, we somehow have to make the future not like how it's being believed to be. But we can't, because that's how the future is looking. That's a belief. And so we're like, the whole system is just stuck in this confused resistance of non-reality, of limitation, of suffering, and it can't get anywhere because it's trying to find that expansion, and it's trying to find expansion in limitation. So we see the impossibility of it. And so yes, and so one other interesting thing from what the listener said, because in a dialogue with the listener previously, I'd said that what's happening now is where there's a shift from a mind lost in thought, lost in that ongoing cyclical rumination of struggle within the limitation, trying to find wholeness within separation, to observing that and to actually allowing the physical sensations to have their place, to reveal what's there to be felt, what's there to be experienced. Now, it's really interesting because the witnessing presence that we are is truth. That's reality. And a conscious mind that shifts from identified as separate to sort of dissolved into that witnessing space, that's sanity, that's truth. But a conscious mind, and this is really like, it's subtle, but see if we can hang out here. A conscious mind with an agenda to not suffer, to not feel certain things, to find peace, to find home, that is trying to witness things in order to control them or for them to go away, to resist, is just an identified conscious mind. Is just a mind still lost in separation, still lost in the idea of control. So it's like a pretend. It's like it's pretend. It's not really a mind that has dissolved those belief structures or those attachments or those definitions and is now settled into presence. It's a mind that is completely lost, still completely holding on to these beliefs and desperately trying to be present, to witness in order to have a different experience. So it's not that. Yeah, which I think starts to become clear. Presence is what we are. It's not something that the conscious mind does. Yeah. So again, what we could see here is that the attempt to control, to get rid of an experience, is the issue. And when we sit just in the discomfort, witnessing the thoughts, witnessing the experience in the body, not with an agenda, not with trying to get anywhere, not with no desire for anything different other than this discomfort right now. That is a mind shifting back into reality, because that's a mind now engaged with what is. Yeah, so exciting this, isn't it? Thank you for the great question. Bye.